being 3 minutes late, I did have to take care of a work thing really quickly. I had to correct somebody on an email issue that they didn't quite understand what was going on. But we are here. We are ready to play some Strangeland. So let's get at it. Yeah, I actually, it's like a big pet peeve of mine. I don't like to be late to anything. All right. When last we left off, we were in a really good place. We had no head.
Nothing but darkness down there.
I don't think we have an inventory. So we had cleared through kind of that first area, and this looks like a very similar second area hub. However, obviously things are a little bit twisted and changed. I did want to share a theory that I had real quick. A lot of times when I finish playing a game, I continue to think about it, right? I continue to keep trying to theory craft and build from it. What I kind of came up with so far of where I think the storyline is going. The woman that we're trying to rescue clearly is kind of the objective here. We're going through some of our own mental tangles and our own mental issues. But there's a couple key details that I picked out on this that I thought, was worth kind of delving deeper into. The first was that the woman seems to be committing suicide in the beginning. We're falling down that dark well or something. However, we notice that she's in a hospital gown, right? Very clearly she's in a hospital gown. So what that tells us, or at least what it tells me, is that he is relating her to this hospital room. Now, did she have a suicide attempt that failed? Maybe. And that's why she's in a hospital. I'm not sure on that. Where I wanted to keep going on it, though, was that big crab thing that we fought, right? We obviously fought that big crab beast, and, we won, and that's what brought us here. And why was it a crab? Why was it a crab? Well, crabs and cancer, right? I think that's a fairly not like obvious thing to put together, but I think a person could intuitively bring together a crab and cancer. So, is this an issue of cancer? Did she die of cancer? Is she suffering from cancer? Did she attempt to commit suicide because of cancer? That's where my headspace is going right now. Again, I have no idea if that's right or not at this point. This is really just kind of what I was thinking. I was like in the car spitballing this to Cinevera on our way over to, I think we're going to my parents' house or something over the weekend. But anyway, this head is us. We've got, I think, 3 exits again? We do, and the phone. So let's
How can I possibly use it without a head?
Alright, well, and I don't quite remember here.
You've got to get me out of here. We need to get back to her. We were so close. And then the dark thing did whatever it did.
So,
and ever since, I've just been stuck.
I do think, is this grayed out text?
Seriously, just smash the glass and help.
So, the head of that, the head of the Raven is interesting. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. So the dark thing, I have heard cancer described as that too. Just this force of, like, darkness that eats away and everything. I feel like maybe your character is not a good person. That's possible.
I don't know how this happened. It feels like I've been in here a long time, but I can't remember how I got here. Was it you who put me here? No, I can't believe that. Listen, we need to reconnect. This situation, this separation, it isn't good for either of us. Mens sana and corpore sano and all that.
I'm not sure what that means.
Don't look at me. I'm stuck in a box. You need to walk around, see where we are, and figure out how to get back to where we should be. Are you all right? Just take care of yourself. Ourself. myself. Goodbye.
Yeah, this representation of how he experienced her illness. I think so. There was a game I played forever ago. That Dragon Cancer, I believe. And so it's not completely out of the realm to represent things, you know. I mean, I think cancer, in a horrible way of saying it, is a unifier. A lot of people know someone who has suffered from cancer, died of cancer, beaten cancer. It's a pervasive force, a pervasive invader. I wanted to say, I think it was a Christopher Hitchens memoir I wrote. It was his last one where he described it like this paradox of cancer, that it was this alien thing that was eating him up and killing him, but once it killed him, it would die too. And so it was this like strange force that, you know, as he was just kind of spitballing ideas and everything and, you know, just writing. Can I not? I can't talk to you. All right, let's keep wandering. Interesting.
I can't even shout into the void. It's like a cross between a croquet mallet, a shillelagh, and a nightmare.
Let's take a better look at it.
It's a limb of something.
I mean, that's probably what we're going to use to get our head back. So he is lost.
That's not a real head.
Interesting. That's not a real head. I mean, I think the most obvious thing.
Hey, careful.
Much better.
Huh. God damn. Actually startled me.
Did you miss me? Sadly, we're stuck together, like a canker in a rose. Et in purgatorio ego. Trust me, my lot's much worse than yours. To be stuck at your stumbling pace, sharing in your shame. Unable to abide or abort, to forgive or forget. Familiarity, my fool, doth breed contempt.
Here goes nothing.
I didn't know if I wanted to jump. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. That's interesting. We could... I can't tell if these screen transitions are... It wants me to do something, I think.
Just missed it.
What am I don't know what I'm trying to hit.
When am I going to hit the bottom? What bottom?
Okay, so it's directing me. I see, so I actually am moving. Yeah, let's go towards the light.
What the hell? You?
The cicada?
Yes, me. Now listen. In the world of entomology, an imago is an insect in its final mature state, typically winged. In the world of psychotherapy, however, an imago is an idealized mental image of another person, wielding great power over the psyche. Power to unify the fragmented body, Lacan writes. In Latin, of course, the word means image, or echo, or phantom.
What are you talking about?
Whichever it was that you sought in the pit, the last stage of growth, the idealized person of another, or a ghost in the dark, I advise you to look up, not down in your search. You can fall to your end, but not to a proper ending.
Wait. What does it all mean?
Brother, we cicadas crawl through the dark earth for 6,000 days, just to fly for a few brief weeks of light and love. You ask me what it means. I tell you, do not waste your wings, and do not spurn the mana you are given.
Well,
I can't just pick it up with my hands.
can I put it on the bat?
That's not going to help.
By the way, cicadas near us are horrible. It's not so bad right near my property, but I've got a coworker now. The cicadas around our area is supposed to be very, very bad this year. This woman at work was saying that, like, as she leaves, there is nothing but the husks of their shells and everything through her driveway. She just crunches over all of them, and then, like, gets home after work. She and her husband sweep them all away, and then, like, through the day, they just come back. We've seen a couple of them around the area. A few of them at work, too. Nothing super bad. You start hearing them bad. You start hearing that, like, little chittering noise. It's, ugh.
The webs are too thick and strong. I can't break through them.
Can you...
It's the wrong tool for the job.
Alright. Well, let's not freak out.
It's too far off. It's too far off.
So what is this all representing right now? Just his mind.
Is someone there? Or is it just the wind?
If.
Hello? It seems to be ignoring me. Tempting, but no.
You're.
Don't fuck with snakes.
They were helpful last time.
See, we're in Deadland now.
Well, I'm glad we're seeing eye to eye.
I mean, I still definitely get, like, a Jesus crown from this, right? I don't think that's
Hello?
crazy.
I hate talking to myself.
Let me turn out my light real quick. Let's talk with the Raven. Still
What are you?
A man dreaming he's a bird? Or am I a bird dreaming he's a man? Either way, I'm just a fragment of your imagination.
Don't you mean a figment of my imagination?
Partly.
What happened to this place?
Life has killed the dream you dreamed.
They miss
Don't
her up.
worry. Everything else here is dead too. That's why they call it Deadland.
Now life has killed the dream I dreamed.
I was flying to a woman and then a crab grabbed me. And somehow, when it was all over, I wound up here. How can I get back to her?
I heard a joke once. I think the punchline is, carry on.
Can't you help me get back to her?
I can't even help you get back to you.
Deadland? Am I?
A headless man walks in a world of ghosts and he wonders, am I a dead man dreaming he's alive? Or a live man dreaming he's dead?
Goodbye.
Fare far, if that's your fate.
I mean,
How thoughtless.
at least it didn't kill me. I was a little bit concerned it was going to try to kill me. So let's... This was the old forge.
Is anyone there? 8-3?
Atri, that is my name. Why have you called me?
You said your name was Atri, but in another place. I think I knew you as 8-3.
Atri died, so that 8-3 might live. So, there he was, and here I am.
So you two are the same person.
How many lives, how many selves have you scattered across this place and the other one? You should know by now that every man contains a multitude, and life is a process of elimination.
So Atri was eliminated?
In time, a man's name becomes the sum of his shames. It turns poisonous. It shrinks him and sickens him until he thinks the whole world is made of poison. And then he thinks, better to come of age again, to be a number, the sum of primes, highly cototient. Yes, there's safety in numbers. And so poisonous Atri is left behind, and industrious 8-3 soldiers on.
I'm not sure I understand it yet.
You were one of the ones who did whatever it was you did to Nineveh, aren't you?
And you're one of the ones who blames the doctor for the sickness he couldn't
There
stop.
it is. There it is.
So here in your head, you've painted me a poisoner, and a freak, and a dwarf, and a number. So, which of us makes monsters?
That's it. I'm almost positive. I think I'm onto it with that.
What the hell do you mean I make monsters?
I am but a walking shadow. This is your game to play. You picked the pieces, laid the board, and made the rules.
What did you mean when you said, here in my head?
You walked through your mouth to get here. Where else did you think we were?
I thought we were in Deadland.
Where could the land of the dead be, other than our memories?
Interesting.
In another place, you, or 8-3, made things for me. Can you do that for me here?
With what? I have nothing but my own burning shame. And even here, no work is done without an order.
So was he the doctor? Was Atri the doctor? Right?
Can you make me something?
With I...
Goodbye.
A funny phrase, you know. Once, it meant God be with you. Does that really seem a fitting farewell in this pit?
Yeah, especially that blame me for a sickness I couldn't stop type thing. That...
It's not operational. There's some kind of building where the crab was, and a bunch of mirrors.
Interesting.
I liked him more with the grin.
Oh, Jesus Christ! That was not the answer.
He's too fast.
I think that may be it, Kitty. I think his life went to hell, and his hatred grew when no one could save the person he loved. Dude, this game is fucking amazing. Holy shit. Alright, do not interact with the snake.
Good for the goose, good for the whatever that is.
My finger!
Finger, eh? It's illegible.
All right, so
Let
G.
the G be miswritten. Alas, Allele, Alleluia.
Let's talk with him.
You look just like me. Two men can look the same, and yet see very differently. No, really. Are you me? A stranger asks a blind man, "Who am I?" But how can he possibly expect an answer? Wait, tell me your name. Yes? I don't know.
Interesting.
See? See what? That you are begging the question.
Snaky Dew is also dripping venom on him.
Well, what's your name? The dead know nothing. They have no further reward, and even their name is forgotten. It's not just you. Everywhere I look here, I see us. Ego of egos. All is ego. You really don't know your name? Well, I remember the name Gershom, but whether it's mine, or yours, or both of ours, I can't quite say. What I can tell you is, a good name is better than a fine perfume.
Gershom is something I want to write down.
Listen, I was trying to get to a woman, and this thing, this dark thing, it became a crab. And I think I killed it, but somehow, it sent me here, wherever here is.
She
And
go
I
into remission?
need to get back to her somehow. That much I know. The dead, who have already died, are happier than the living, who are still alive. But isn't death different here? You ask, but I can't possibly answer. For in the realm of the dead, there is neither knowledge nor wisdom. Even if you can't tell me about death, at least tell me how to get back to her. There is a time to search, and a time to give up. What if I'm not ready to give up? Pity anyone who falls, and has no one to help them. I don't want your pity. I want a way back to her. The sun rises and the sun sets, and hurries back to where it rises. Even a fool knows that if he wants to go back the way he came, he just needs to retrace his steps. Why are you just sitting here, letting that snake thing drip venom on you? When I could see, I saw a tree with a snake.
Adam and Eve?
Thought it the tree of knowledge.
Yeah.
So I sat and hoped to learn. Now I'm blind and have nowhere else to go.
Interesting.
Is there anything I can do to help with the snake? Once, I think, there was a woman who caught the snake's venom in a bowl as it fell and spared me some suffering. Now I wonder if she was just a dream, or whether she became the tree, or was the tree all along. Is there anything I can do? If you could find a...
Find a way to catch
Have
the
you
venom.
learned anything sitting here? Yes. I learned that in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. What happened to your eyes? Did you feed them to that snake thing? No. I looked the wrong way for wisdom, and the bitter poison I saw left me blind.
Interesting.
But in time, I learned that while the wise have eyes in their heads, and the fool walks in darkness, the same fate overtakes them both. So what
Death?
is the fate of blind fools and wise men? Chasing after the wind.
Huh.
I've got a feeling I'm gonna need a work order. Peeking ahead? Or have you guessed that what has been done will be done again? Well, if a fool wants to break free of a glass house, he only needs to throw a stone.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Do you have any meat? Or bread? No. The fool folds his hands together and eats his own flesh. Are you sure you don't have any meat? I have none. As I said, the fool eats his own flesh.
Interesting.
There used to be a tree here, and an old man. What happened? The wheel is broken at the well, and days have lengthened like a shadow. No, really, where are we? And what happened to the carnival? Do not say, why were the old days better than these? For it is not wise to ask such questions. What are those quotes you keep spouting? The assembled wisdom of worthless toil. Why can't you just speak for yourself? Because fools multiply words, while a man worn by wisdom knows there is nothing new under the sun. Goodbye. Remember the days of darkness, for there will be many.
Alright, well, let's,
You can't fool me into writing vulgarity.
Alright, well, let's boop him in the head.
My tooth! Tooth?
Julian Reyes, thank you so much for the subscription there. And why did... I don't know why that alert box didn't go off. It should have. I had it fixed up. I swear I did. One sec. Is that gonna... it's gonna break it there. I thought I had this fixed up. In fact, I'm almost positive I did. Sorry about that. You know, goddamn Togoth. Oh shit, we need to get Tooth.
Plan.
So there's nothing else over here. The snake thing kills us.
I don't even want to touch it, let alone climb it.
Alright.
Is.
So, we have a work order for the tooth. Maybe we could give it the limb? And the tooth could be used to cut through the web? I'm not entirely sure.
Nothing but darkness down there.
Interesting. So let's...
It is an order, but how can I obey with no tool or material?
Do you want
Not everything is a nail.
It is a tool, not raw material.
Alright.
Will this do?
Oh my god!
Fair.
Here, I expect to fail.
So we've got to find something to make a tooth from. I still have the skin. No, I fixed that! The game is still set as Heroine's Quest? Oh, I fixed that though! Damn it! You're right. You're right though. I know I set that. It should have updated now. Damn it, Togoth, just unprofessionality in everything you do. Who can stand you?
Are you me?
It's like Talia.
Look, I can see that you're a person. For God's sake, act like it.
Well,
Well, that failed.
so I can't club him in the head. Obviously not anymore. What could we use to make a tooth with? Excuse me.
There's
Part of the
nothing else in
glass?
there.
No glass? No glass? No glass? Damn, I was actually kind of hoping the glass would be it. Can we feed him our flesh? I mean, I think that's what we've been doing.
I've got... Hello? Is there anyone out there? Nothing.
I mean,
Literally, a shot in the dark.
yeah, I mean... The feeding of his flesh, I wonder if there's a dialogue option to not antagonize him? Alright, let's take a look. Or can we growl back at him?
Okay, let's try it your way. Ah!
Alright, not so much.
All right, this is getting old.
The woman is the other one I want to potentially try. Can I take one of his teeth? I guess not. Should not have said that. Those look like little eyes at first, but...
I couldn't even use the regular anvil myself.
I mean, we can try throwing a rock at him from here. Alright. We should talk about the woman. I thought this was probably going to kill us, but, you know, you live and learn. Or you die and learn. Life is a series of trial and errors. Oh man, I'm so excited. I started planning vacation for the summer. I think Cinevera and I are going to hit up Cedar Point at the beginning of August. Can we talk about the woman?
Listen, I'm trying to get back to a woman. She has golden hair. I think she meant a lot to me. Maybe everything. Maybe the only thing. So I think she probably meant something to you, too.
There it is.
You know her, don't you? You want to find her, too. Don't just growl at me. Help me get back to her.
Fuck! So the feral man just has to be our unbridled rage, right? A representative of our complete anger.
Hello?
I hate.
So... I mean, I like that idea of somehow using our own flesh. It's not a terrible idea by any stretch. It's a how. All we've got right now are rocks and a work order.
It's part of the structure, or whatever this is. Are you sure you don't have any meat? I have none. As I said, the fool eats his own flesh. Goodbye. I'm done with branch breaking for the day. Week? Month?
Really?
Year? How long has it been?
too.
Well, I think whatever that tooth is, we're gonna need...
The webs are... I can't...
Nothing here. Alright. I mean, we can go back down the hole again.
Maybe a proper ending would be better.
Oh, is that falling deeper into despair?
At least the line's not dead. I need to deposit a coin first.
Okay.
That's not going to help.
Well, we've got the... He's got the tool, we just don't have the raw material, right?
Put something I can work with on the nodule first.
The stone... I mean, the stones are the only other thing that... And we tried that, right?
You can't make anything but dust from a rock.
Alright. The fool uses his own flesh. Alright, we have a telescope. Can we sneak behind you? Tick, 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 tick. Alright.
Can you tell me anything about this place? Goodbye, I guess.
Well...
I don't think throwing rocks at him is a good idea.
I mean, the doctor, he is very adamant about doing nothing without a work order. That could be I mean, I'm still going to go on this cancer thing. Could have been some type of experimental treatment that he couldn't get approval for. And so now his mind, like the mind of our protagonist here, I'm just everyman, is basically like, you know, creates him that way then, right? Like, he won't do anything without a work order.
There's nothing else in there. Nothing. I have nothing to say to it.
Shit. Okay. Okay. So...
Wait.
I'm definitely at a stuck spot.
Deadland.
But, yeah, Cedar Point coming up this summer, probably. I haven't been to Cedar Point in, God, probably 12 years, 13 years. I went with some friends in college, you know, as we, like, were kind of finishing over the summer, before we went into our senior year summer, because we didn't know, like, jobs and all that, so our junior year for that summer we went, going into senior year. Oh my God, it was fantastic. It was so much fun. I'm a huge fan of roller coasters.
Nothing but dark. Nothing but. I can't just pick it up with my hands.
What else?
That's not going to happen. That's not.
There aren't a ton of places you can even go here.
It's too far off. It's too. I don't need the target practice.
Let's pixel hunt a little. I'm just thinking I missed an area somehow. It's possible. But if I did,
It seems to...
I don't know where.
I don't even want to touch it.
4.
I don't need the target.
Me.
40.
Goodbye.
No tooth.
Tooth?
Did he drop a tooth? I'm like trying to really pixel hunt here.
My finger. My ass.
You can't fool me into writing
The bowl, it doesn't appear to. He said that there's nothing in there.
It won't budge. I don't need the target.
I mean, the thought is distracting the snake to drip venom into it.
It won't budge.
Tail.
It won't budge.
You.
Is there anything I... If you could find a way... Goodbye.
Interacting with the snake kills me.
A.
You know, what we need is whatever the material is.
Maybe. Maybe. I have nothing.
How thought.
I have...
How.
One of my favorite times in Cedar Point was fantastic. So I went on Millennium Force, which is a nice big steel coaster at night, and we got the front seat of it, right? I was super pumped. And went through the ride, like, I remember yelling and screaming, and my mouth just filling with little gnats and bugs. Like, just, yeah! And, like, just horrible. So I had to, like, close my mouth. I could feel myself getting pelted by them. I get off the ride. I'm literally covered in, like, these little dead gnats. Went so bad that they actually blasted little holes through my shirt. And I threw away that shirt years ago, but, like, I had all these little holes all throughout my shirt from these freaking little bugs, because, you know, they're not big bugs or anything, but I think the coaster gets to, like, 85, 90 miles an hour. So...
I've got...
What?
I've got the real thing. I've got...
Nothing... Hang on. Oh, shit. 1 second, folks. Alright. Interface flapped at our other facility. It came back up, but I want to make sure that it's something I'll have to keep an ear out for.
I've got the real...
What the fuck else can I interact with? Hey, It wasn't horrible. You know, it was a good, funny story. And then we stayed at Hotel Breakers, which is like right on Cedar Point property. So went back. Normally we eat dinner at like
Nothing
4
but dark.
o'clock, right? Because we wanted to avoid the dinner crowd and ride the rides while people are at dinner. But at like 10:30 or so, we're starving. Well, there's a TGI Fridays that's like right at the Hotel Breakers, right there on the beach there. Oh my God, I just crushed wings and mozzarella sticks. It was incredible. It was so good. Granted, it's TGI Fridays, not exactly anything super special, but like when you're super hungry and exhausted, it was wonderful. And hey, Kalen63, welcome, welcome.
You've got a hammer now. Make me something.
From what? Bring me the raw stuff on which to do my work, and an order to drive me to it.
Later.
We are outside the flow. When the universe, there is no...
I'm going back to goodbye.
So... I mean... No, I didn't want to talk to you.
Goodbye. I guess that's what passes for an anvil here.
I'm not sure.
I liked him more with the grin. I have nothing to say to it.
Fuck. I mean, there aren't that many places for us to look, so whatever it is... Alright, well, Tooth is our work order, right? So...
That's not funny.
I was hoping I could knock a piece of flesh of him off.
That's not funny.
It's already broken.
Yeah, it is, but... Well, maybe do I throw some... I mean, I feel horrible about doing this.
Pen and paper are enough for me.
I actually wanted to throw a rock at you, but...
No tooth.
Tooth?
I mean, can I take another Tooth work order?
I don't need another one.
Alright.
I don't need another.
What the fuck else am I missing? If anyone else has an idea, I'm all ears, but...
The webs are too thick and I can't break through.
What else? I can't jump down the hole. Wait a minute. Oh, that's 2 exits. It's 2 exits. It's 2 exits. Well, there it is. There it is.
Human skulls in another kind of shooting gallery, except without any gun. I can't reach the skulls, and there's no gun to shoot them with.
Who would have that sweet balm of Gilead?
Gilead?
Some visitor, gently rapping, tapping, nothing more.
I mean, does this not do it? That doesn't do it?
There's no gun, and
I don't quite understand the puzzle.
In this head,
Okay.
by horror haunted, where you tremble, shamed and daunted, there is something you have wanted. One thing only, nothing more. Waiting here, within a bottle, the promise of surcease of sorrow, a vacant past, and no tomorrow. Will you take it, we implore?
yes?
Take it, we implore.
What the fuck?
There's a bottle labeled Balm of Gilead. It's empty.
Oh, blind stranger, thought you in this place of danger to find some friendly face or welcome manger, some escape within a drawer? Fool, there is no balm, no calm, no Aiden.
Aiden.
Gilead is gone, and so's your maiden. So keep this pain inside your cranium and bear its burden evermore.
I only wanted the bottle anyway, so fuck off. So, is that some type of drug that we're taking? Something to help us, like... Are we overdosing? Is our character ODing on something right now? And this is us trying to
I guess
find our way through?
that cicada threw up some of the roots it was chewing on.
That's a possibility. That this is all an overdose on whatever that Gilead is, right?
That's not...
That's not gonna work?
That's...
Okay. I mean...
Can you work with that?
Oh, yes. Only black bile defies my craft. This is what's left from intellect gnawing at the roots of wisdom. From it would come something incisive. You need only give your order.
Julian Reyes redeeming the points for an Ask Me Almost Anything. What do you got for me? That is horrifying.
There is tooth, fit for one who would bite deeply.
Don't forget he's wearing the clothing. Yeah, straitjacket, definitely.
You always come back to the knife. But has
Interesting.
it ever helped you? Were you ever able to cut loose from misery? To strike a blow against your demons? Never. Dull, dull, dull.
I'm liking the storyline right now that his wife died of cancer, and this whole fever dream is an overdose on that Gillian stuff, whatever the stuff that we had, that empty bottle of. A homunculus.
It looks a little like me.
Well, there
Or
we
maybe
are.
I should say it looks like a little me. A lot like a little me. There's so many of them.
Well, PC issue question. Long story short, I'm having graphic driver problem that makes my PC freeze and restarts. Yes, I've uninstalled and reinstalled. I don't know what to do. That would be a perfect part for the Togoff Discord IT channel. To actually figure an issue out like that would probably take longer than just something that we could spitball back and forth, because that would have to be a troubleshooting thing, right? But if you're having a graphic driver issue, please certainly join the Discord, and there's an IT channel there. Be more than happy to
Nothing but dark.
take some time, maybe tomorrow, and you can take a look at it and see what's going on. All right. So let's... Oh, God.
I have nothing to.
Well, that didn't... Yeah.
Huh. Just like the.
So...
There's gotta be a better way to poison this thing. I don't want to flush him. It seems to be. I found this homunculus. It looks just like us. Keep it to yourself. One of me is too much already. There's gotta be. It'll just squirm off. I'll just give him a little poke. It'll just squirm off.
Well, it's a cut homunculus now.
I don't want to flush.
I would have thought stick him on the branch there.
It's me? Doesn't feel like there are any coins in this one. That's... He didn't want... That's... It seems to be a... There's got...
There wasn't any more regurgitant, was there? Can we use the bottle to the venom?
I don't want to get too... Might just work.
Ah!
Well done.
And yeah, Julian, absolutely, I'd be more than happy to assist you.
Is there anything? The cup runneth over, and my head is anointed. Empty it, please, and bring it back. Goodbye. I'm done with branch breaking.
All right. Let us combine the poison and the homunculus.
Here we go again. I don't need more poison. He's beyond my help.
Oh, well, I mean, he did ask you. So if you have another question, Julian, I'd be more than happy to help you. But yeah, I wouldn't worry about using your points on something like that. I'd be happy to help you just for fine.
Is that what you think you are? A poor martyr caught in the coils of circumstance. It should be her beneath the snake, succumbing to the drip, drip, drip of a death you cannot stop. Naive indeed, but you'd rather paint yourself a victim to blunt the pain of failure. The truth is sharper than a serpent's tooth, isn't it?
Is the drip drip, is the drip drip chemotherapy or something? Just that poison that has to course through you? I'm gonna stick on this cancer theory for a while. My idea for fun, idea day for fun. My idea day for fun, definitely some type of amusement park. Amusement parks to me are the greatest. Just, I become a little kid. I think I've talked about it before, but I love roller coasters. I love thrill rides. I love that, like, adrenaline rush you get, and it kind of just puts me in such a great mood that I can't help but laugh. I can't help but joke. Kalash, his family, Son of Air, myself, we've gone to Six Flags Great Adventure. Oh my god. So much fun, so much laughing. Literally, we leave that day just... our abs and stomach is hurting. First of all, just from having your hands up the whole time, but second, just from laughing so much, and just, oh, it's so perfect. Alright. Pal. Here you go.
He definitely didn't look happy. There's a note stuck inside. The world is a masquerade. Faces, costumes, voices, all pretend. We all wish to appear as we are not. We deceive ourselves, and in the end, we do not even recognize ourselves. The world is... The world...
But, yeah, I think it's why we got the Disney Vacation Club membership, to keep going back there, and why we're talking about going to Cedar Point this August. It's just so much fun for me. It's a kick-you-in-the-ass type of day. Our typical Disney day, we'll walk anywhere from 9 to 12 miles, and it's pretty non-stop. But, damn, is it fun.
Hey, you! Or is it, hey, me?
Neither. We're all fakes.
Not yet.
Who are you?
Just think of us as fragments. Masqueraders.
Fakes. Masqueraders? You don't even have masks.
If your friend the cicada were here, do you know what he'd say?
Mask. From the Latin, masca.
A cover for the face. A specter.
A nightmare.
And we all have nightmares here, don't we?
You're not wrong.
Onkos was the Greek word. It meant the mask worn by an actor in a tragedy.
It also meant a weight. Or a burden.
The mass of misery that hangs on the head of one who suffers.
And we all have burdens here, don't we?
Can you take off the mask? Set down the burden. Wake up from the nightmare.
That's what you've been doing.
Your mind is a matryoshka.
But be careful. What's underneath could be worse.
Worse? Sure, we put on masks for a reason, don't we?
Maybe under all those layers of overcoats, there's only a dead rat.
And what if there's nothing beneath? Where are we? The carnival? My head? Why not both?
A Coney Island of the mind.
Can you help me find her? The woman. I know you know who she is.
Huh.
Sure thing. Walk up the tracks.
Do it yourself.
That's the whole problem.
It's not a pilgrim's progress when you hitch a ride.
But you've still gotta get past us.
Get past you?
Sure thing.
Just need to look us in the face.
And say please.
Please?
Sure thing. Just tell me this. Do you remember what you called me? The man you were?
Oh god, what we were. Fuck. Oh shit. Did I write that down? Did I write that down? Rota, Atri, Alberich, Nineveh. Beak Claw went. No, I don't have that. It wasn't a part of my notes. Was it? I don't think it was the Fool. I thought that was my future. No, maybe it was the Hermit? Or was that my present?
I called you a fool.
Liar. You
Shit.
called me a hermit.
Damn it, I was
Why?
Hermit.
Because we were going to be alone anyway.
Shit, I was right with
Soon
Hermit.
enough. And how about me? The man before you. What did you call me? Do you remember?
I think that was the Fool.
I called you a fool. Why? Because we should have found a way to help her. Well, then, now it's my turn. The you who is to come.
The Hanged
What
Man.
did you say I was? Remember? I called you a hanged man. You gonna tell me why? Wishful thinking, I guess.
Well, that's that. Maybe you'll do better at looking yourself in the face up there.
Up where?
You'll see.
All right. Yeah, I'm not liking this. The long walk.
Hopefully that hike won't repeat itself. I think I'd rather hit the tree again. I wish I could tear it out.
That's interesting.
It's out of reach. It's not like my luck can get... Only 2 rocks left. Just enough for what needs to be done.
I mean, before I do that,
Ah! That hurt! I'm saving them. Here we go again.
so not wanting to face yourself in the mirror is a pretty common
Well,
psychological thing.
Last one.
It's just not healthy.
Huh. For once I did something right.
I don't think so. I think that's wrong.
I wish. Not trying that. I'm sick of being watched. Not bad. Well, look at that. In we go.
Interesting.
Please write your name to continue.
So, what do I write?
Oh,
Please write your name to continue.
we'll try Gershom.
You are a stranger in this strange land, but you did not write your name.
Just an ordinary mirror. Hey, it...
Please write your name to continue.
I mean, Kevin?
You did not write your name.
I don't know my name.
There's no switch. Another... It's a guest register. Nothing to...
the name that the old man, he said it was Gershom.
Please write your name to continue.
Wasn't it Atri?
You did not write your name.
I don't know what my name is. Well, I mean, the fact that we can go
No
back.
going.
All right, so we can't go back. Can never go back.
Another mirror.
Please write.
I mean, I don't think it would do.
You did not.
Okay, so I didn't know if it was gonna like read my files.
Please write your name to continue.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
That's it, isn't it? Your name.
Yeah, that took me a little longer than it should have.
Well, I wasn't planning on going back anyway.
The man who takes the right path will find his cup runs over, while he who goes the other way will, by and by, be left with nothing.
I mean, that would almost say I'd need to take the right path.
It's out of reach.
They're the same, aren't they?
I can barely even see myself with these pieces missing.
Interesting.
The liquid's out of reach. It's out of reach. The mirror looked special, but it's just my same old reflection.
So these are all ornate mirrors.
Same old.
Say.
Same old. Hello? I know you can talk. Just say something.
I'm giving
Something.
up on you. So they both lead to the same.
Nothing to fill it.
I don't know.
The liquid's out of reach.
I'm not sure. There is a shining of a light. No, I think it's just this loading. Okay. There's another eye there. I don't know if anyone else saw that. But it doesn't do much of anything.
It's out of reach.
Just dive into it, you coward. See, like, even a mirror that's clearly broken and destroyed, he looks fine in. Did the liquid get lower? I don't think so.
Same old. Same.
I don't think the liquid is moving up, but maybe it is. See, this one, why did it shimmer there? And it didn't do it that time.
The liquid's out of reach.
So I can't access my inventory from here. I don't think I can access anything. I mean, you'd think there is a piece, but I can't actually interact with that screen at all, right? Like, there's a thought of, can you grab something from here, but I cannot interact with this screen.
Just smelling it makes my head spin. It's out of reach.
Yeah, I mean, collecting shards seems possible. But I think our issue is we can't interact with anything. We still don't know what this is here. So right-clicking or left-clicking doesn't seem to matter. Hang on. I was looking at his right eye and how it, like, or I guess technically his left, our right. Like, look how effed up it looks. Right? It's got, like, that point. Alright, Kevin.
Just the liquids. Nothing to fit.
I mean, I was hoping I could catch some of these drippy dripples. But I don't
It's
think
out of reach.
I don't think I can catch the little drippy dripples.
Same.
Can I stand to get all three?
Same old.
So why... Is there an item to combine the flask with? No, all I've got is the flask.
An empty bottle of Balm of Gilead, whatever that is.
Mirror, mirror, ornate, 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 broken, mirror, mirror, mirror.
I already told you, you need to go the right way to fulfillment.
Well, right. I mean, this is going the right way. Oh, do I need to keep walking in circles? There it is. Dude, why am I so dumb? That's frustrating. I could have gotten that. Failing and flailing was definitely right.
Whew. Strong stuff.
that the water level was changing. I didn't pay enough attention to that. I feel pretty dumb. Damn, I should have had that.
That's not...
Maybe it's not gonna...
The bottle's full of purple. The smell of it makes my head spin. No reason to pour it. That's... Well, it worked for Alice.
Is this, like, gonna knock me out?
Oh. My head feels strange.
You just drank this shit. I mean... What did you think was gonna happen? Let's look at us in an ornate mirror now.
Not again. Where is it? What the hell? It's a raven's head on my body. A nice change, actually. It's a
Quote the raven, huh? All right. Ever heard of the mirror mark test?
No?
Eggheads use it to see if an animal really knows itself. You put the thing in front of a mirror, and you put a mark on its forehead. Then you see, does it understand the animal in the mirror is its own reflection? Or does it just get mad and lash out? Everything from God to Corvids have passed it. And yet, here you are. Oh, so you don't like the mirror? Well then, let me give you another mark to work with. Ravens mate for life. Actually, most of us birds are monogamous, which means that thing you humans find so romantic. You're not spotting yourselves in swans and turtle doves. You're admiring the avian in humanity. It's the closest you'll ever get to flying, really. Still lashing out. Only a fool thinks he needs a broken mirror to reflect a broken man.
Aha. So we have the rat. Mirrors. The raven. What would the other one be? Guess he maybe wasn't so faithful? It's possible.
Taro, Tora, Ota, Rota. Mystic, sacred, mythic, profane. And so the wheel turns on and on.
Dude, what is this?
Young eyes see the world for what it is. But from our teachers we learn. Pareidolia. Our vision warps until we see nothing but distorted versions of ourselves in every stone and socket. And when one sees his sin etched in every inch, he's left with no choice but blindness.
You're right, Kitty Lynn. We did have those masked ladies of the night.
A little broken glass never hurt anybody, right?
So we have a rat, a raven, and an eyeless dog.
Hello?
Did you think I was full? That I was gone?
No. I will hound you until I swallow your world.
The Predator?
Too slow. Always too slow.
Let's strain it out. I feel like we're toileting right now. How's life been? Not too bad, Badachu. Life has been pretty good. Very busy with work. Right now, I'm still working on getting multi-factor authentication running throughout our environment. I've got our core networking equipment down. All of our switches and our core router is good.
A ladder? That wasn't there before.
But, yeah, I got to get our firewall with our VPN and our
Funny.
Outlook web app client.
No bottle down here.
But we do have the shard.
I don't want to touch it.
I don't blame you. Creepy as shit. Alright. That should allow us to interact with this. Oh, fuck, it's Tex Murphy all over again. Oh, and they're rotatable. No potato. Oh, no. Our years of Tex have prepared us for this, folks. And, yeah, I mean, otherwise, I've got my niece's graduation party coming up this weekend, which should be nice.
Well, it's progress. We're getting there.
Right, we're putting us back together. What does this mean, that we're putting our reflection back together? We're putting ourselves back together? We're the image of who we want to be?
Almost got it. One more shard.
What does this mean?
There. What is that? Even I know better than to touch that.
All right. An acceptance of who we are? I don't feel like we're at that point, though, right? I don't feel like our character is ready to accept who
You know,
he is.
someone once told me, the man who stands at a strange threshold should be cautious before he crosses it. But what else am I going to do?
Maybe more confronting. Well, here she is.
I did it. I made it back.
You couldn't have. What's wrong
My
here?
pole star.
Pole star.
It's not even locked.
Does she not want us?
I'm here. What? What is that?
I think he's overdosed, and the ringing is the real
No.
world.
This is always my favorite part. Like I told you, you always drop the ball at the end. No! Don't bother. I'm already inside your head. You know that. I've always been watching. Watching you squander and ruin every single good thing in your life. Did you think you could win?
Addiction?
Idiot. Take a good look at the setting you made for our little escapade. In your heart, you knew this was a carnival game. You knew life was a carnival game. Rigged from start to finish. It was never a matter of winning. Just a question of how much you would lose before you realized it was time to quit. Well, ready to quit yet?
It's gonna put us back to that pit, isn't it?
Not done yet? Aren't you sick of running? Your whole life. Running from that dark thing always just behind you, like a black dog. Hungry, angry, relentless. And you fed it, didn't you? Let it grow big enough to swallow the sun, didn't you? And now there's nowhere left to run.
Guilt makes some sense. I
guess I'm nowhere. I've fallen enough. They're too heavy to lift. I've fallen.
Oh.
That's the thing with shadows. You can never escape them, unless you go into utter darkness. But you failed even at that.
So there are multiple endings. I don't believe so.
You're too worthless to even quit while you're behind, let alone to win. You really thought you could save her from that dark crab that had her in its clutches.
It's gotta be cancer.
After all, a man is meant to be the hero of his own adventure, but not you. You are just a husk, a rat. Can't just untie a noose. They don't have a cutting edge.
That won't help. I can't move with this.
Is there something I can grab onto?
You of all people should know the playwright's truth. Death is never a tragedy. Death is where a tragedy ends.
Nineveh.
And now you're left with nothing but masks and metaphors, excuses and equivocations, and a woman always just out of reach.
It's too far to... I can't reach... I've fallen in... There are the tracks leading to the cage, leading to her.
do we make of a man who plays a deadly game, but only when the rules say he can't die? You're worse than a pawn. A sacrifice can't save your queen. And even if you reach the end of the board, she's not coming back. And it's all your fault.
So now we're recycling. We have a dagger now to cut the noose.
Liar.
This is nowhere.
There. How would that even work?
I don't know.
I don't want to blunt. I guess.
So it's going to give us a few seconds at every place.
Failure. Liar.
So we can combine the claw with the rope again.
This is starting to feel like
Deja vu, but not quite. Now, you're going to think I'm telling you about jamais vu for the first time. No matter how often we've already had this conversation. It's when you've heard something before, been somewhere before, met someone before, and yet it feels completely unfamiliar. If a man writes death 1,000 times, he starts to wonder, is that even a word? But it is. Oh, how it is.
I mean, that gap was the obvious.
I can't reach them.
Ah! I thought I saw that.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, we are.
No, you're on a journey to nowhere, and you're wearing yourself to nothing.
I thought the wings looked a little out of place. No, no, no.
That's not.
No, no, no. Fuck. Stop. Game.
That's not.
Do you really think you can escape me?
I still think this is addiction. Guilt makes sense, though. Guilt is a...
I've got you.
I did it. I made it. But the dark thing. It's right behind me.
There is no dark thing, you liar. These symbols are evasions. Crows, crabs, clowns. This grab bag of myths and masks and make-believe. It's all an evasion. She's dead. Do you understand? You can't talk your way out of that. You can't cut your way out of that. You can't imagine your way out of that. This figment, this fragment. Savor all you want, or don't. It doesn't matter. She's a fake, and you're a fraud. You already failed. You didn't save her. You can't. She's dead. This whole carnival is a lie. A funhouse mirror. Because you're too ashamed to look in a real mirror and see who you really are. You know I'm right. The only thing in your whole damned adventure that's ever been true is what I've been saying. I am your mirror.
He's lying.
He's telling you facts. But what a mirror can show is a dim reflection at best. Our lives, ourselves, they're more than just facts. They're truths. And all those symbols let us see the world's truths through the eyes of another, as a lover's eyes show us our own bright selves. You saw me, and I have never stopped seeing you, my love.
But are you dead?
Yes, dead, not gone. I'm here, aren't I?
But the dark thing is here too.
If there's a shadow in your mind, it's because there's a light in your mind to cast it.
It's nice.
You thought I was the light, but it was always inside you. I saw it. The whole world is full of lights, shining in the darkness, like the sky is full of stars, and the field is filled with fireflies. You thought I caught you as you fell through darkness, but you were the light I saw. We caught each other. In here, out there, our light is still shining. And now, once more, you need to spread your wings and fly toward that light.
How? Every time I've tried to fly, I've crashed. And now the wings are gone.
You have what you need, my love.
He has nothing, and he will fly nowhere. Beyond this gloom in which you're hiding, there's just reality, as hard and sharp as a knife. Out there is what you're running from. Your black dog, your dark thing, your shadow. We are the reflection of a life you can't look in the face.
Don't look it in the face, my love. Look it in the eyes. And soar. It's time.
It's a long way down. I can't even see the bottom. I fell from up here, but it looks I can't even see.
What bottom?
We use the light on ourselves?
Goodbye, my love.
Caroline Visions. Oh, man. Oh, Jeez. I don't know who those are. Richard Wasicka and Annette Duffy. Whew. Holy shit, man. Oh my god. What an incredible game. What an absolutely magnificent game. I know I've brought it up before. I think way too often games are judged on their length. You know, how many hours you spent playing the game is how good it is. And we never, like, we didn't spend a ton of time on this game. But holy shit, this whole journey was amazing. Just absolutely amazing. The puzzles in it were fantastically good. The puzzles felt incredibly rewarding. And nothing felt cheap. Nothing felt like, oh, this is bullshit, come on. Yeah, Kitty, it was an incredibly dense game. Wow. What a game. Holy shit. Yeah, so we have theories that have never been confirmed or denied. Right? And that ending, you know, talking of like this past lonely year and a half. Oh my god. What did we missed a bunch of stuff, I guess. Yeah, there's apparently a bunch of stuff we missed. I am absolutely blown away by it though. It was just really magical. Oh, man. I'm really blown away. Is there a secret ending upon getting every achievement? There might be. I wouldn't even know where to start with that, though. Commentary will spoil some of the game's mysteries and plot. I'm not turning on. Yeah, let's just turn it on for now. Right? Starting a new game will overwrite your auto-save. That's fine. I'm just curious what the commentary is. Yeah, I don't think he was insane. I think the straitjacket and everything is a symbol of being trapped. He is stuck within his own mind.
I don't want to tell you a joke. I don't want to tell you anything at all. But you know the problem with me? I never could keep my big mouth shut.
Hi, I'm Mark Yohalam, and I'm one of the 3 developers at Wormwood Studios. My core area of responsibility is the story, dialogue, and design of our adventure games. And in these commentary tracks, I'm going to talk about that. And in particular, I'm going to talk about the life experiences and literary influences and game influences that helped shape Strangeland and give it its content. I apologize in advance. It's pretty long-winded, so feel free to skip mine and listen to James and Vix if you're in for something a little more brief.
No,
Hello
that's all
there.
right.
My name is James Panos. I'm the programmer of Strangeland and one-third of Wormwood Studios. I was brought into what was gonna be a small game for a jam and has ended up a fully fledged game that has taken almost 4 years in production. Joining the production, my initial goal was to make sure that this time we have the proper tools to create the vision Mark Yohalem and Victor Flagg had with this project. In a sense, I feel like a big part of Strangeland has been pushed through the finishing line because I didn't refuse any of the things that were vitally needed by this artistic creation. I'll be going through details further on. Hope you enjoy.
Dude, I love it. We can't go back for that yet.
Wait!
Goodbye, my love.
She's gone.
Not gone, Querent. Nearly dead. Again and again she comes to this well, to weep and leap at the sound of the shriek. Which of you will save the other?
It's a long way down, but I could give it a shot.
We do need to die so that... Oh.
Listen, the thing you have to understand is, this is all your fault. You miss all the obvious signs. You let everything slip through your fingers. And you're no good at fixing things. That's why she's dead. That's why you're here. Right. Anyway, I'll call again later. But if you need help, and you will need help, please hang up and press 0 to dial your operator.
Wait!
What is
He
that
sounded
C?
just like me.
Oh, is the C commentary?
For me, all
Oh, yeah.
storytelling is autobiographical. I don't really have the capacity to imagine characters that aren't, in a sense, just manifestations of my own qualities, my own defects, my own fears, and doubts and aspirations. To some extent, I can model characters based on people I've met in my life. But even then, it's really the characters in the game are just reflections of the significance to me of people in my own life. And so that's also a form of autobiography. So the agonies and doubts that the stranger has in Strangeland aren't inventions. I wouldn't be capable of inventing things like this. Hopefully not everyone has a superego, which is what we call this antagonist who calls you on the phone. Not everyone, I hope, has a superego who calls inside their head and belittles them and makes them question everything that they've done, makes them feel guilty for everything bad that's happened around them. But I think some of us do. And while the stranger's superego is maybe an exaggeration of the voice that rings me up inside my own head, there is that ringing. And, part of the reason why I like to have these autobiographical stories is to think through my own experiences, to reach to players who might have similar experiences and say, look, those aren't just things that happen to you. Those aren't just challenges that you face. I think that's something that literature can really do for us, games can do for us, any kind of storytelling can do for us, is make us realize that we aren't alone in the feelings that we've had. And, I think the consequence of dwelling on these doubts and insecurities and fears in Strangeland is that it does make it a dark and a horrific game. But I think it's also a hopeful game, and even if it's melancholy, I don't think it's a depressing game because ultimately it's about how the stranger works through these various voices and monsters inside of him and finds his way back into a life that he can live with.
Dude, I love this. I think it's really easy to kind of forget that, like a lot of these game developers and game artists, the absolute dedication and commitment it takes to bringing their story to life. I miss this, see there.
What happened?
Okay, so when I came into doing the graphics for Strangeland, I had Dark Seed and Dark Seed 2 very much in the forefront of my mind. Like,
that shows.
Artistically, I guess.
Absolutely.
Don't think anyone would call those the most artistic games ever, except for the contributions of the seminal HR Giga, of course. And so basically my idea was for Strangeland was to give it a bit of a Giga vibe, or a Giga vibe, however you want to pronounce it. And honestly, kind of, I was trying to make a lot of the game look like the cover for Dark Seed 1, which turned out not to be the best idea when the scope of the game got kind of increased pretty massively from what we initially visualized. So I kind of had to expand my ideas for that a bit, which was fun though, because initially I started with basically a very blank canvas, monochrome brush strokes, like the underpainting for an oil painting, where you'd blotch in, simple tones and shapes, and then I got to come in later and add a lot of the visual flair and choose some more varied color palettes and stuff like that, which is when the purple and yellow kind of contrasting colors came in, and I pretty much stuck with that throughout. I wanted Strangeland to have a dreamlike quality, and while I've always wanted to make like a black and white game, that just wasn't really ready to do that yet. So it's a game with two colors, if anything. I quite liked the idea early on of doing a psychological horror game that didn't actually depict any blood in it per se. I just kind of stumbled into that by accident, really. I mean, I hadn't drawn any blood in any of the scenes 3/4 through production, and then I'm like, well, we kind of need blood here, but I've got a workaround for that. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just thought it'd be interesting to have a horror game with no blood and see how fracking scary we could make a horror game without, jump scares and blood pools and raining blood and blood this, blood that everywhere. Yeah.
That's awesome. Dude, I love this.
Not this again. Here's one for you. Man sitting in his doctor's office. Doc says, and now here's the good news. Man says, Doc, you didn't even tell me the bad news. Doc says, not this again.
Ready to speedrun it? Yeah, this is going to be my submission for SGDQ.
There's a particular kind of allegorical story in which the protagonist's mental state, his character flaws, his hopes and aspirations, his sins, are manifested in a fantastical landscape through which that character travels, and over the course of his travels maybe comes to understand what's going on inside his mind or his soul. The first of these that I read as a child is Where the Wild Things Are.
I remember that.
It's not as obviously an allegorical story as others, but it is. It's about a child's will to power and anger and frustration, sense of injustice, about how he's been treated by his mother. And those things become embodied in this land of monsters over which he becomes king before finally returning home, maybe having found a little bit more appreciation for home and the comforts of home and the manners of human society. And then over the years, I read other ones. There's the fantasy series, The Chronicles of Thomas Covenant. That's sort of a lowbrow one. In the highbrow department, there's Pilgrim's Progress, and of course, The Divine Comedy by Dante.
I did read that.
And all of these works are an important inspiration for the structure and content of Strangeland. The Inferno begins with this memorable stanza: midway in the journey of our life, I came to myself in a dark wood, for the straight way was lost. Ah, how hard it is to tell the nature of that wood, savage, dense, and harsh. The very thought of it renews my fear. It is so bitter, death is hardly more. And from there, of course, Dante begins navigating an even more terrifying environment, going through first hell and then purgatory and ending up in heaven. And that kind of structure was something that we wanted to explore with Strangeland. You similarly traverse different environments. There's a verticality to them, similar to in Dante's poems, and a similar sense of growing self-awareness on the part of the stranger, who's really a manifestation of this widower who's lost his wife to cancer.
I was right.
And he's coming to terms with his inability to save her, and his powerlessness, and his grief, and the emptiness in his life from having lost her, and his doubts about the decisions that he made over the course of that life, the compromises and the sacrifices, and whether any of that made sense, if it's going to end with him alone without the woman he loves. And that agony and indecision is manifested in this carnival, and ultimately in a shadowy version of the carnival called Deadland that you'll get to later in the game. And so, I just want to say, I understand Tolkien, for example, criticized allegory maybe a little bit insincerely, given that he has his characters traversing things like the dead marshes to get to Mount Doom. Feels a little bit Pilgrim's Progress-y. But I think there is a place for allegory. There's a reason why human beings keep coming back to allegorical stories. Not just because they teach values, but because they teach us symbols to look at the struggles that we have in our own lives. Hopefully we won't all have to go through hell and exile like Dante did, but we all go through little hells and little exiles, and I think allegory helps us understand what we're going through.
AGS stands for Adventure Game Studio, which is Strangeland's game engine. This was incidentally the engine we previously used for Primordia, and Wajidai Games has also predominantly used AGS for all their games. The big difference this time, however, is that we've expanded parts of AGS and fixed many of its issues throughout the production of Strangeland. Accessing backend functions through the plugin extension of the engine allowed us to run code functions that weren't accessible or were very slow. This has been a wonderful learning experience for me personally.
That's awesome.
The result stands tall and is not plagued by the selection of the engine in such an extent that people can't believe this was made in AGS.
I agree. The fact that it was made in AGS is amazing. AGS is the same engine, by the way, that Heroine's Quest is made from. But again, like Heroine's Quest, I think it is very well above and beyond.
The wind effect that is present mostly in Acts 1 and 2 is historically the most important visual effect because if I never implemented it, none of the other visual effects would be feasible. It was the first big test of the engine's extended capabilities with complex code functions, and I had to make sure that the answer I got from my experiments was the right one. Essentially, the wind effect is nothing more than a derivative version of a particle generator, with the addition of a circularly angled motion on the particles every fourth loop. In essence, it is nothing more than a 3-layer particle emitter. The 3 layers are background, small dust speckles, middle ground, dust speckles, and foreground, big dust speckles. But the wind gives this barren, strange feeling to the player, this unwelcoming, dusty carnival that he's now finding himself in.
I really love too. They had that quote earlier that life was a carnival game. It's not whether you can win. You know it was rigged to lose. It was just how much you lost.
In the fall of 2016, my grandmother, who had been suffering from dementia for many years, died. And my step-grandfather, who had been caring for her, died shortly thereafter. I think it was pretty clear that the only thing he had been living for at that point was to take care of her. And Strangeland is absolutely inspired by sort of the wrong word, but it is a game in which I'm working through grief and thinking about the last years of my grandparents' lives. My grandfather had been a NASA engineer, and when I was a little boy, he got us a computer, which we hooked up to black and white television. It was an Apple IIc, and he taught me the basics of programming on it. And that was really what got me started down the path of making computer games. And over the years, he played a lot of the games that I made, the simple ones I made. And then as I got older, he would gather science articles that he thought would be helpful in the science fiction I was writing. He didn't enjoy video games, I don't think. He didn't enjoy science fiction. There's no evidence to me that he ever read science fiction other than what I wrote. But he wanted to support me in that, and also he saw opportunities for solving problems, problems with the shortfalls in my own scientific knowledge, problems with my games, flaws in the artificial intelligence and whatever. My grandmother had been a university professor and became a genealogist, and much of the last decades of her life she spent tracing her family lineage, trying to situate herself in a web of human experiences across history. And she shared what she found with us. Honestly, genealogy is not a passion of mine, but it was interesting. And the two of them actually, he was her third husband, and for most of my life, they were a couple, but they weren't married. And they got married just before my wife and I got married. I think they got married because they wanted to just make it easier for us to introduce them to people at the wedding, that it would be easier to just say, here are my grandparents, they're married, here's my grandmother and her husband. As dementia narrowed my grandmother's self-awareness, her awareness of others, my grandfather tried to engineer solutions It's not a problem that can be solved, though. Um, there are ways you can mitigate it, but after a while, the mitigating strategies don't really work. It's just a slow and steady deletion
Jesus.
of a person, her memories, her relationships, all those, that web of connections that she had extended not just through the present but into the past, bit by bit, strand by strand, broken. And he kept trying to mitigate. I'm not sure the mitigating strategies worked, but he was a person who had a set of tools, engineering tools, I mean, mental tools, and he wanted to try to solve this problem with those tools and tried. And then when it couldn't be solved and she died, then he died too. And I was responsible for going through their apartment and he's serving as executor of the will and making sure that things got to everyone who should get them. And it was a small apartment. It was very neat because and he had made it neat. And as I went through it, I found all of these souvenirs. They had moved into smaller and smaller living spaces over the years, so they'd thrown away a lot of things. But even still, this was their most precious stuff. His old engineering manuals, a flag that had been in orbit around the Earth, the telegram he received when he was called up for service in Korea, her genealogical charts, slides of the trips they had taken. And he had set aside some things that would be helpful for me in Fallen Gods, which is a Norse-inspired game, role-playing game I'm working on. Lewis chessmen replicas that they had gotten on one of their trips. Photographs of the Scandinavian countryside. And there were wood blanks. He was a wood carver, turned things on a lathe, and there were blanks for things that he never turned, and her paintings. And there's this mnemonic technique called a memory palace. And I was thinking about memory when I was in the apartment. In a memory palace, you arrange things in your mind that you want to remember as if they were tied to a physical place. And then when you try to remember them, you traverse in your mind that physical space and you take the memories out of niches or rooms or pedestals in your memory palace. It's a centuries-old memory technique, and I can't do it, but I gather all good, what do you call them, mnemonicists, rememberers, use this technique or variants of this technique. And I realized that that's what their apartment was. It was a memory palace. In reality, those souvenirs, the photographs of my children, of me and my brother when we were children, of my mom and dad at their wedding, things like that. Those were memories. Those were artifacts to conjure the memories. And at the same time, I was thinking about another concept, a cabinet of curiosities or wonder cabinet, which was this idea, this was like an Enlightenment thing, where you would prominently display treasures from around the world, biological specimens, historical relics, works of art, things like that. And it was that too. These were the most special things that they had had. And I was working through that grief for months. And so when we decided that we were going to make this adventure game, I wanted to make an adventure game about memory. about losing memory, about love, about losing a loved one, about not being able to save a loved one, and trying to treat death like a puzzle to be solved and not being able to solve that puzzle, and what it means for a man to not be able to save the person he loves, to have at his disposal a truly heroic set of tools. You know, this was someone who had engineered aspects of space shuttles. This was someone who had been a pilot. He really could do a lot of things, but he couldn't solve dementia. And I wanted to make a game about those themes. And I wanted the game to take place in space, in an area, an environment that was a memory palace and a cabinet of curiosities. Of course, it would be fantastical and much more fun and amazing and beautiful and frightening than just walking through a little apartment belonging to two old people. But I wanted that same experience for the player where you find artifacts and those artifacts are tied to memories and joy and grief and things like that. And so that was really the impetus that set Strangeland in motion from my standpoint.
Sorry, folks. Give me 1 minute. Cinevera walked to my room. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Sorry, folks. Yeah, I mean, I'm loving just how personal this all is. You kind of feel like, well, this guy's, the stranger's loved one died of cancer. His thing, though, was specifically dementia for his grandparents.
One of the first things that I coded was the implementation of the SDL audio engine, SDL mixer, with AGS. SDL is a cross-platform audio library that allows the playing of multiple sound effects, positional audio, and various effects applied to them. Music tracks are streamed using the OGG Vorbis audio library, which enables Strangeland to crossfade between two tracks, something that was necessary and appropriate early on to our production. Sound effects, on the other hand, are loaded temporarily in memory when played and removed after a short period of time to make sure that we don't clog the user's memory. One of the hardest things accomplished here, and one of the main reasons we switched from AGS default sound engine, was the need to apply a low pass filter audibly present when you open the inventory screen.
Well, we never found out about what was this. Right? We never really discovered what that was.
Adventure games are commonly described as being about locks and keys. The player comes across locks that can take any number of forms. It could be a character, it could be a literal lock, it could be a chasm that you have to get across, and various keys. They could be a literal key to unlock a door. It could be an item that a character wants. It could be a rope that lets you cross the chasm, and so forth. In Primordia, our locks and keys really wound up being quite literally a lot of locked doors that you had to unlock. You would enter a room, and before you could go farther in the direction that you wanted to go, you'd have to unlock a door, and you'd unlock that door and walk forward, and you'd hit another locked door. You'd have to find the key to that, you'd unlock it, you'd walk forward, and you'd hit another locked door. We sort of lampshaded that and made fun of it a bit in Primordia, but even with the lampshading and humor, I think it interfered with the flow of the game. And so with Strangeland, we wanted to shift away from a locked door model towards a locked box model. And the difference there is that a locked box is something the player can walk past, something he can walk around, and come back to from different angles, literally. Whereas a door sort of openly obstructs your progress. So with Strangeland, it was important that the hub area be pretty open. The well has exits going in all directions. You can then take exits from those areas without hitting locked doors. And while we do still have some locked doors in the game, I think we did a better job of permitting the player to wander around and come across these boxes he wants to open, rather than finding himself locked out of areas that he wants to enter. Although, candidly, I think we fell back on the crutch. I fell back on the crutch of locked doors in designing the game, particularly as it went on. In the Hall of Mirrors, for instance, there's a long series of locked doors. It's a hard design crutch to get around, and hopefully on our third game, maybe I can find a better approach than we used here.
Now, atmosphere-wise, I had a few things in the back of my mind, trying to set up the atmosphere for Strangeland, which, I mean, not only encompasses art, but also soundscape design, music. I guess you could say Sanitarium was a big one that influenced me there. Weird Dreams, definitely Commodore 64 classic. Definitely a big influence. You'll see a few little Easter eggs and bits and pieces from those games. Strangely, my kind of biggest atmospheric influence, I think, on Strangeland was the game Kyrandia and Kyrandia 2.
Kyrandia was fantastic.
I guess they're just games I really loved as a kid, and I felt kind of drawn into the world, and I felt it was kind of like an insular world. I mean, Kyrandia 1 obviously set on an island, basically. And I wanted the park of Strangeland to have that same kind of feeling, like you really were exploring an interesting, varied, wondrous kind of landscape, but obviously a lot darker than Kyrandia in a lot of spots. Yeah, you will actually see a couple of scenes and visual motifs lifted directly from Kyrandia. I like to think they're just my little nods to the game. I don't feel like I was plagiarizing Kyrandia in any way. Just in case anyone wants to accuse me of that, you bastards!
Who did you come?
Is that?
Who are I that?
Kids, can you? What do you have?
Where are them?
Do you?
No, are they? What?
Sure, they're... A scrap of...
I mean, obviously we're not going to listen to this all again.
What? Goodbye.
George.
Let me...
I'll see how much of this I remember.
My B.
Dude, I absolutely love this little...
I don't need it.
Oh, really? I can't get to his notes?
Shortly after we finished Primordia, I set about trying to make this role-playing game, which I've now been working on for about a decade, called Fallen Gods. And to construct the setting for it, I wanted to read all of the Icelandic sagas, all of the Norse mythology that I could get my hands on. It turns out it's taken me so long to make the game that now basically every third video game released this year is Norse inspired in one way or another, but maybe by the time Fallen Gods is done, the Norse craze will be over. But anyway, in the course of this omnivorous reading of Norse cultural artifacts, Icelandic cultural texts, I came across the Havamal, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, which is a poem of wisdom like Ecclesiastes in the Hebrew Bible, attributed in some versions to being sayings of Odin, but they really don't read like the sayings of Odin any more than Ecclesiastes reads like the sayings of Yahweh. They are. It's much more practical in the way. Even Ecclesiastes has a certain stoic, practical quality to it. But anyway, the Havamal is the text that the scribe quotes repeatedly when you talk to him, and I was really quite drawn in by it. I think if anything really solidified my commitment to build Fallen Gods, it was the alienness and familiarity at the same time of the wisdom in the Havamal, because it combines this mix of very practical advice, things like telling you not to get too drunk at a party, be careful if a tree's roots have come up, you want to be careful that it doesn't fall over on you. With other advice that's presented as just practical advice for a nightmarish world, warnings about not letting yourself be seduced by witches whose houses you might seek comfort in a storm, advice as to what to do if you meet the man who killed your brother while you're traveling on a road, that just suggest to me what a good time it is to be alive. For all the problems in the world right now, I don't need to worry about meeting the man who killed my brother on the road, or being lured into a witch's house. And then additionally, there's sort of more moral advice in it, similarly stoical advice to the advice in Ecclesiastes, or in some of the Roman writers, and then some what I would call spiritual advice. But all of it taken together conjures a world where the values were not so different from ours, but yet one that feels very, very strange. And I thought that that would be a sort of helpful text to use with the scribe, to make the scribe feel simultaneously cozy, friendly, familiar, but also with this alien quality to him that estranges you from him. And of course, estrangement is a major theme in Strangeland.
I think we're going to do one more here. And then I am going to get to sleep because it is 10.
Kyrandia. Kyrandia, 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 Kyrandia. Westwood. So yeah, Kyrandia just strangely a big influence on my art style for Strangeland. I feel like I feel like I've consciously drawn inspiration from Kyrandia. I guess I don't know. I guess it's just the open world feel that Kyrandia always had for me, and I wanted to bring that into our project, into the horror kind of world, and this screen would be a pretty good example of that. If you look really closely to the branches of the yew tree, it matches exactly the branch structure of the oldest living tree in Kyrandia. And actually, the old man under the tree and the bench, I used that as a basis for painting the scribe and his resting place in Strangeland. I just want to give a few little nods to that game. Not that it had any massive tangible influence, really, but it's just always in the back of my mind. Like, Primordia, heavily influenced by Beneath the Steel Sky.
Another fantastic game. But
Strangeland, I'm a little bit more on board for art and music, and less so like ideas and world directing than I was on Primordia. Strangeland being Mark's brainchild, and Primordia being a little bit more of my initial, conception or concept or whatever. So yeah, I guess there's less actual game influences of mine in Strangeland and on my work in Strangeland than there was in Primordia, definitely. But yeah, Kyrandia just always in the background with its natural bridges or unnatural bridges, as the case may be.
Yeah, anyway, folks, if there's an interest, I will continue this on stream. If not, I am planning to go through the entire game again, listening to this commentary. I find it fascinating. I find it absolutely fascinating what these guys have done and what they've put together. And just this very intimate feeling of, like, you're getting the curtain pulled back a bit. This is so cool to me. Seeing someone that's obviously incredibly passionate about point-and-click adventures and what they're doing with it. So, yeah, I would say Wormwood Studios, if you can, absolutely support them. It is a fantastic, fantastic game in Strangeland. Shorter, but crammed with so much fantastic comment and so much amazing content. Really just an incredible ride. And yeah, if folks are interested, and it kind of sounds like there's some at least, I'll continue it. Not entirely sure when, maybe even tomorrow if I'm around. But we'll go from there. Yeah, unfortunately, I got a meeting in the morning that I really want to be good for. It's more of this multi-factor authentication stuff that I really have to kind of be on the ball for. But anyway, folks, as always, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. And please tune into the next streams. Do you remember this Friday, coming in just a couple days, we are going to be doing a Dungeons & Dragons learning stream, where I'm going to be taking a few beginners and walking them through the Roll20 interface and how rolling works, how combat works, all that stuff. This is not going to be the actual adventure yet. This is more or less just going to be a how to actually play in this world. And then we'll go from there. So, yeah. As always, folks, thanks for watching, and tune in the next stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. It really is greatly appreciated. Cheers.